it's 6:05. People will roll in, and I'm just dilly-dallying for the first few minutes anyways. So thank you for coming. This is our info session for fall 2025. Um, so I'm guessing that people who are here because they heard me talk a lot at EAF and were like, oh, okay, maybe. Um, if you didn't hear me, I was either taking my brief intervals to get water to replenish my voice after talking so much, or you were beside me as I was talking to somebody else. So you've like heard the grating voice at some point in your time, which is great. So I'm really glad you're here. This is so fun. And yeah, so without further ado, let me get my list to make sure I don't accidentally talk over somebody because I don't want to do that. Okay, so how do I skip? Oh, got it. Okay. So who are we? So I'm just going to read off of our mission statement because I think that that encapsulates it really well. And honestly, I think it says it better than I could just off the cuff. But our mission is to destigmatize autism in the Los Angeles UCLA community and foster a conversation about the importance of inclusivity. So, from educational events and engaging volunteer opportunities to the analysis of legal and societal neurodiversity initiatives, Autism Advocacy at UCLA strives to advocate with, not just for, autistic individuals. So, we'll get into kind of how we carry out that mission statement as I go into our various initiatives and kind of what we do. But a little bit about autism spectrum disorder because that is obviously our main priority. So, autism spectrum disorder is, I believe that our club kind of likes to view it more as a circle than something linear. I think that that is a better way to visualize it, and that is the way that we in this club choose to visualize it. So when we talk about the spectrum, we are referring to the sort of circular one in which it's less like, are you more or less autistic, which I think is a can be invalidating to people who might not present in certain ways, but it's rather more just like how it shows how much you can kind of go up and down, and you might have a little bit of this trait, but you might have a lot of this trait, and it can just look and appear differently in everybody, which I think is an important thing to know. This statistic down here, I have heard a couple different numbers. I think we had 26 on there for a while. And then I think now there's some studies that are claiming it might be 36. I'm using the statistic that I find most frequently cited, which is that 1 in 31 children in the United States are diagnosed as autistic, and that the ratio of males to females averages around 4-1. So then again, that proposes the idea that there are countries where it is probably a very similar amount of people, but there's just not as much access to healthcare like there is here, which could lead to underdiagnosis. And then, of course, like the common distinction of a lot of times males are going to be more easily identified as on the autistic spectrum than females because all of the standards were kind of built around some guys' studies on little white boys. So um, that is kind of a little bit of background there. And let me again check my little slide deck. Okay. Then I think this is Tanvi.
Yeah, so we have four principles. The first one is going to be inclusivity. So, neurodiversity is an umbrella term that refers to different neurological conditions like ASD, ADHD, OCD, and more. Um, and then they all cause people's brains to work uniquely. We focus mainly on supporting the autistic community, but we want to emphasize that uh, advocacy for neurodiversity is also critical to our organization. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. I have the dishwasher in the back, but okay. Um, yeah, so second, we want to amplify autistic voices. So one form of advocacy means listening and including a variety of diverse autistic voices. And again, like Sophie said, the spectrum is not linear, and then each experience is individual. Um, you'll see later that we do a podcast, and we want to highlight autistic experiences in our podcast. So this is one way that we do it. Um, and yeah. And then third, we want to build a safe, supportive environment. So if there's anything that you need or anything that the organization can do to improve the experience, please let us know because we want it to be a comforting environment as well. And then last, we're against Autism Speaks because they don't elevate autistic voices. And then they also use fear and stigma to perpetuate abuse. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I don't know if anyone's seen the ads, like the I am autism, and it's a lot of fear mongering and weird imagery that we're not cool with. And not to mention the lack of actual diversity among of like neurodivergence on their actual board. So okay, I think this is me again. So, being a member, so we have a cute little photo here from one of our socials from last year. So, this includes attending weekly meetings. I think we're looking at Mondays at 6 p.m. right now. We're having weird miscommunication about the time and place right now. Hopefully, we have that worked out by tomorrow. I will update you all by email, via Slack. Anyone who completed the interest form, you will be updated. Um, it also includes having meaningful conversation about neurodivergence, intersectionality, inclusivity on UCLA's campus. We do a lot of discussions based on articles and things. There is always a form. If you have a request for a topic, you can submit it and we will try and work that in. If you want to lead a meeting one day, like absolutely fine. I always want to hear what people have to say because at the end of the day, like I'm one person, the board is a collection of a couple people, and we can only bring so much. So it's nice to get other perspectives. We always work on projects in our various initiatives. That happens in the last half hour of every meeting. We'll get into that. Of course, meeting new people through our social events and collaborations with other organizations. We have a couple of orgs we work very closely with, and they're really great. And you can meet a lot of cool people. And then, of course, volunteer opportunities, health fairs, charity run walks, and then the UCLA Lab School, which will come later. But yeah. So, without further ado, meet the board. We're a little bit limited right now because some people have class or had other commitments, but hopefully, you'll get to meet them at some point because they're great. So, I'm Sophie. I'm the president. I'm a third year linguistics and psychology major, and this is my third year in the club. I joined my freshman fall quarter. So, yeah. Suhas isn't here. He's our vice president. I believe he's fourth year neuroscience. I need to verify if I'm correct about this. Yes, and he's been in the club since I've been here, so probably longer than me. Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm a third year neuroscience major. I'm going to be the director of finance. And my name's Lenvi.
Okay, perfect. Lucia, also not here, is our director of community engagement. So all of those lovely social media posts you see, those are courtesy of Lucia. She's a third year cognitive science major, disability studies minor, and she joined the club last year and has been a big help ever since. Oh, and next one. Zoe is also not here. Also had class. Very hardworking people. But Zoe is a third year applied math major and is our director of legislation. Again, Zoe's been in the club since I joined, so it's her third year, and she's going to be doing legislation. She's been in that initiative the whole time. So if you're interested in something like that, you're in very good hands.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaya. I'm this year's director of events. I'm a third year psychology major and I joined the club at the beginning of last year and I've been in events and I love it.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason, he, him. I'm a fourth year bio major, and I'm this year's director of production. So I look forward to meeting all of you. And yeah,
Hooray! Yeah, these are the lovely photos we just took. But yeah, okay. So moving on. Initiatives. This is a lot of fun stuff. I know that on the interest form you got to talk about if you had any kind of like priority. But I still want to go into what the initiatives are and some more specifics. And I think the best people to hear that from are the leaders of your initiatives. So we've got two of them, which is great. I will do my best to sub in for Zoe, but I was in the events initiative during my first 2 years, so I speak the best. But yeah, so about legislation, so I don't know how many of you guys in attendance are in like involved in poli sci or any kind of like legal anything or just have interest in just general disability legislation, but they are focused on making tangible ta changes at an institutional level at UCLA. That is a lot easier said than done. It is a lot of work because as we know, or if you have experience with either CAE or just general accommodation at the school, it's hard, but basically the way the legislation goes about that is by examining existing programs and policies that relate to or target disabled students, and that is whether you are, neurodivergent, some people are physically disabled and require certain accommodations, all of the above. And then also engaging with university administration and faculty via open letters about discussing inclusive environments. So I know that they work on that sometimes. And then one of the biggest recent projects has been providing resources to students who need them. So that was a lot of hours of just researching what we have at the school, because I find, and I think a lot of people find, especially those who require like accommodation and support, is that not a lot is that publicized, and that this is really helpful of kind of putting everything in one place. So if you want to check that out, it is on our website under, I believe, resources. But yeah, so that is legislation. I will let Kaya take it away for events.
Yeah, so we have two main events that we plan during the year, and that's mostly what the events committee focuses on. So during winter quarter, we have our self-advocate speaker panel, and that's where we have various autistic self-advocates come to share their experiences. Last year's went really well. For example, we had Danny Bowman from Love on the Spectrum, which was really cool, and a really good, like, diverse range of voices, which was amazing. And then during the spring quarter, we have the Neuromingle Market, which is a sort of mini farmers market. It was in Bruin Plaza last year with neurodivergent vendors as well as neurodivergence focused clubs from UCLA. And it's a great time. We had a raffle system last year where we gave away some cute prizes, like some mini tote bags. So, yeah, we'll hope to continue these this year.
Yeah. So as director of production, I oversee podcast, and sounds pretty self-explanatory. We at Autism Advocacy have a podcast called Autism Unboxed, and our goal, it's an educational podcast or an informational podcast to give information about autism or other aspects of autism. And that entails writing the scripts for like an educational podcast or what points we're going to do, researching the script as well, getting good sources. Sometimes it involves finding guests to interview. In our most recent one, we had a few guests who talked about autism in media, and you can find them, or some people interviewed them as well. And you can also be part of the actual recording process of speaking and all that, or editing if you're familiar with editing. And we can go more into detail if you like, but that's generally what we do. It's all the parts of writing a podcast that you'd expect, and maybe some parts you didn't expect.
Hey, thank you guys. And just as a reminder, like the initiatives, it's flexible. If you want to try one per quarter, all power to you. Yeah, so those are our three initiatives. They're great. Here's some photos from last year so you can get a little bit of an idea. We've got some of the events that we tabled at, a little bit from our speaker panel, some from the Neuromingle Market, and then just a lot of our socials. So I feel like there's a nice mix of both in the club. We do a lot of very serious work, but at the same time that people do get to know each other and become friendly, and it's a really good time. And I really do want to amp up the social stuff this year, which is great. Okay. On a meetings and membership, if you received an email from the Autism Advocacy email in the past couple of days, you might have noticed something about active or general membership. If you did not get an email, it is just because I have not checked the list in the past couple of days, and you will get one soon, I swear. Um, but basically, I'll start with meeting logistics and then I'll go into membership logistics. But the way most meetings are set up is we'll do an icebreaker at the very beginning. It's pretty quick. And then we'll have our group discussion. So sometimes it'll be we read or watch something in the meeting and discuss. Other times I might ask you to look at something before the meeting. And then we usually are discussing for 20 to 30-ish minutes. We'll do small groups, maybe a little bit of like sharing out to the whole group, but it's very low stakes and chill, and nobody is forced to say or do anything. And then for the last, 20, 25 minutes, and also this can depend on how close we are to an event. So like again, I was director of events last year. The closer we got to big events, it would be like a 45-minute initiative meeting. So I was like, I need more time. So if that is something that happens, you might get a little more time, but usually it is enough time. You'll work with your initiative groups 20 to 25 minutes under your leads. And you'll just kind of work on whatever's coming, which usually is something. And then the last 5 minutes, it's going to be wrapping up. Your lead might assign you some tasks. And usually you just want to have those done by the next week unless otherwise specified. And then, yeah, what your job is for the next week is to just prep for the next meeting. And now, if you were to be a general member, only the icebreaker and group discussion really apply to you. Active members, the whole thing does. And I will about to go into what that means. So I don't think I talked about this much at EAF to everyone that I talked to because I was just going at 30 miles an hour and was just like riffing out all the things I thought were the most important. But so membership options, we came up with this last year because people's schedules vary so much every quarter. And I found that there were some quarters where somebody would be so involved, and other quarters they're like, I can't make a single meeting. And that's totally fine. Like it happens to all of us. Um, but so we came up with this system to be like flexible when it comes to membership options. So we have two kinds. We have a general member and an active member. So general members, it is very flexible. It is super non-committal. It is literally just come when you can. You come week one, stay for the discussion for 20 minutes and leave. Great. You're still in the club. Awesome. You are still allowed to go to all general meetings, all of our socials, any events. If you want to volunteer, volunteer. It's great. So that is just general membership. I literally just, I think the best thing to encapsulate it is come when you can, no consequences. It's just, yeah. And then active membership is the second kind, which is the one that would get you involved in initiative work. And so that would be, it's a little bit stricter, but that's just how we can ensure that you do your work. So basically, it's that you have to attend at least 75% of the meetings each quarter and engage actively in projects. If we have 10 meetings, seven's gonna cut it, like give or take. And again, like if you have valid reasons and you just let me know, like you don't even always have to tell me the reason, honestly. If it's personal, don't worry about it. Let me know and you're excused totally okay if you happen to make 5 meetings, 6 meetings. I just I need to know your initiative lead needs to know so they can work around that. You also have to attend at least one social event per quarter. I know it sounds kind of weird to say that I'm like forcing you to socialize, but it really sometimes I find that with state like clubs, I'll prioritize more of the academic stuff and I'll be like, I'm tired, I don't want to go. But like it is really nice when everyone goes. So we just try to get you to go to one quarter. And sometimes our socials are during meeting time, like at the meeting, We had like a Chipotle thing last year for like our end of the year banquet. It was fun. That counts. You don't always have to like go for a whole thing. We're usually really chill about it. And then finally, more than 3 unexcused absences, I feel like emphasizing unexcused is helpful, results in a loss of active memberships will just kind of automatically make you general. Because again, like the difference is just did you let me know? Did you not let me know? Did you let your lead know? Did you not let your lead know? Like that's what really matters to me. So those are kind of the differences between the two. I believe it was in the form. So if you have filled out the interest form, you did read about both and choose one. If you want to change at any time, that is fine. Again, just let me know and then let your lead know so they're aware of what's going on. But yeah, and if you select an initiative, I haven't assigned them yet. I'm going to work on that this weekend to make sure that everybody's somewhere that they're cool with. And then on Monday during our meeting, then you will hear about that. Okay. Volunteer opportunities. So this slide is actually more dedicated to UCLA Lab School. I had a meeting with the coordinator last week. So about the UCLA Lab School, for anyone who doesn't know, it is a fully inclusive, innovative school for children age 4 to 12 that's actually located on campus. It's kind of off to the side. I don't know if you've ever seen like the little playground setups and stuff, and maybe you've even seen just little kids roaming around. Probably there. Um, so they're actually looking for 3 to 4 volunteers. The general gist is that you would come around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. ish, somewhere within that window, and you would be part of the playtime. So they stagger their playtimes by grade. And your job is honestly just to make sure that kids are included. And so they might point out, a couple of kids, and maybe some of them are on the spectrum, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just having a little bit of trouble socializing, and your job is to incorporate them into play. You're not going to follow them around like a shadow, but you're also going to make sure that they are involved and having a good time in whatever capacity works for them. So um, it would be great if people, I mean, I speaking for myself, I enjoy working with children. I know I'm sure a lot of you do too. If you are interested, you can email the Autism Advocacy email. It's right there. It's also like in the bazillion links, and I probably emailed you from it at this point with your name, general weekday availability during said times. And I am going to prioritize this opportunity for registered members. So I think this is a really good opportunity. Um, you wouldn't just be thrown in. They have a little bit of training for you. You might have to do like I know you sometimes do a tuberculosis test for working with children, even in a volunteer situation. And you would be paired up with either a work study employee who actually works there and like has gone through maybe more extensive training, or with another volunteer. So if that is something that interests you, which I think it's a really great opportunity, especially for people who are interested in education and inclusion and working with children, period, then yeah, please email. And I can pass on your information and then you'll get, you'll the coordinator will be your point of contact from there. So that's UCLA Lab School, and I had mentioned earlier we have other ones, but this is kind of like a consistent volunteer opportunity that I would consider to be closer to like a internship sort of thing than like, you know, volunteering at a health fair once or twice. But there's lots of tabling opportunities if that's something that you enjoy doing, because tabling is not exclusive to our board. Okay, where to find us? So the link on the left, or the QR code on the left, is for our link tree. That has literally everything under the sun that you need to find anything for this club. That's our website, that's our all of our socials, email, interest forms, all of the above. I think it also has our weekly Zoom link. So if you ever need to join a meeting via Zoom, or if I hold a meeting over Zoom for some reason, that's where you're gonna find it. It's this link, it's a recurring link, so just keep it somewhere safe. Yeah, so it's our link tree. I'll also upload the recording of this in case anyone missed part of it or had to leave early or didn't make it, period. So you can learn a little bit more. And then on the right is the Instagram. There have been a couple posts the last few days. I know we had our board post just up a couple hours ago, something about Trump and Tylenol in the last couple of days, because that was a fun one. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. It's really great. And again, like Lucia, our social media coordinator, like very, very good at her job. So yeah, and then this is the QR code to our like I say apply now. I think application is not a great word for it because we're very flexible about membership. It's just if you're interested, scan that code, submit it. Like I don't turn anyone down because I see that everybody who joins tends to have a passion for what we are doing. And I think that that's the most important thing. So please, please apply now. If you want to change anything about it, email the Autism Advocacy email. Like again, it's all in the link tree. It's all in all the information. If you need anything, you can DM the account. You can anything you want. Um, but yeah, so that's all I have. Let me see. I don't think this. Okay, thank you and see you next week. I will send out information of when. I'll keep this up. Does anyone have questions? You can either unmute yourself, you can raise your hand, you can send it in the chat. Um, I probably forgot something. So if there are any questions besides the time and location of meetings, tentatively Monday 6 p.m. location, don't know. We're working that out. I will send it to you, I promise. But do we have any questions?
Just one question.
Yeah,
Do you know when the first social event for the club is at the moment?
our first social. No, we haven't totally discussed that yet. We need to meet as a board. I'm going to guess it would probably be um probably in the first couple weeks of the quarter. I don't know if we do it after the meeting yet, or we'd pick maybe like a Friday or something and go get boba or whatever. Um, Whichever. I'm not sure yet though. But again, these are things that
Okay,
like when we know, we will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay.
sounds good.
I got
Thank you.
two, yeah, no problem. I got two questions in the chat, so I'm just gonna read them. I applied to be a general member, however, now I'm considering being an active member. Could I reapply? You could either reapply or you could send an email and I will literally just change it. Like I have like a spreadsheet and I will just change like what your answer said. And just if you do, you don't have to go through the whole application again. If you want to do it, just tell me what initiative group you're interested in. Maybe rank them one, two, and three. I didn't ask that on the main application, but it might just be helpful in case I have to move anything around. And yeah, so you can send it. I keep saying me an email, so you can send it to Autism Advocacy email. I will see it. And then I'll work from there. And then somebody asked what the deadline is to apply. I honestly, we don't really have a deadline. We do get applications throughout the quarter, so sometimes somebody will just appear week 6, and that's totally fine. If you were to come to the meeting on Monday, I would appreciate if you had it done because then I can have an initiative assignment for you if that's something that interests you. But if you just show up and come say, "Hi, I want to be an active member and I want to be in this," I'll put you there. Great. So it'd be nice if you filled it out so I can get a little bit of information on you and get to know you a little bit. But there's no like strict cut and clear deadline. Like I said, we are very flexible, and I think that apply is like an overstatement of what this actually is. It's more just like I'm gonna be there, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So yeah, whatever work. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? If not, you can also just head out. This was pretty quick. I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes, which I did. Um, but yeah, so if you want to stay behind and ask any more questions, I'll stay on till everybody else goes. But yeah, thank you guys for coming, and I hope we see you on Monday at
Yes,
location
thank you.
undetermined. I will get it to you. Yes, no problem.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.